for the park playground and the tennis court. I think, I may be mistaken, that might be a typo because it was just for the completion of the tennis court, which I would like to point out that Mr. Joseph Connolly in Parks and Recreation did a tremendous job out there. Again, could I have that corrected? Is that just...
Can you read the page number at the bottom for me?
Exhibit 5, page 2 of 2, but it's easier if you go 6 pages from the back of the book.
Wellington Park and Playground and Tennis Court?
Right.
And what are your...
I believe that money was only set aside for the tennis court, if I'm not mistaken. The playground is still yet to be done. Right.
Yeah, you're correct. So we need to take the playground out of that. So administratively, we're going to delete the words playground and.
Now, my second question, if I may, Mr. Foskett, is if you go one more page to the back, and you go 80% of the way down the page to recreation, I was under the understanding last year that the playground was going to be in the 2012 budget, but as you see here, money has been appropriated for the playground in 2017. Is that the way that's going to fly in the future?
Let me see. So you're looking at Exhibit 6, page 2 of 3?
Yes, sir. Down in the recreation section, I believe in last year's capital planning, the playground was going to be done under 2012, even though it wasn't cast in cement. But now it's saying that we're appropriating $6,000 for the year 2017 to finish the playground. And I'm just curious.
First of all, if I can sort of redirect your attention to Exhibit 2, and I'll check and tell you exactly.
These are just projections, though. We're not appropriating this money at all. These are just what he's planning on doing.
Yes, I'm just curious, Mr. Moderator, because last year's book
yes.
had
Okay. So you are correct. If you look on Exhibit 2, page 3 of 5, we have in the current plan forecast Wellington Playground improvements for $427,624 in 2017.
Could you give me that figure again, please?
$427,624. It's rather precise, but that must be the quote. That's scheduled for 2017, fiscal year 2017.
Then what is the $6,000?
That's the forecast of debt service. That's one.
Okay.
That's one half of 1 year's interest on for the first year.
Okay, so the year has roughly been changed from 2012 to 2017.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay, we'll make that one administrative change that you referenced. The gentleman next to Mr. McCory.
Len Carden, Precinct 20. The Florence Ave tot lot, which is in the budget for next year, is the primary playground used for the Dallin School. And I don't know who the correct person answers the question, Mr. Moderator, but I was wondering if the construction of that can be scheduled around the school year so that the kids can still have some place to play.
Either Mr. Foskett or is this Mr. Cole or whoever's going to build it.
Hi, Joe Conley, Director of Recreation. It is, because it is on parkland adjacent to a school, the primary users will certainly be Dallin School, but it's a public playground open to the public. The schedule will be laid out the best we can so that, yes, the kids will get the benefit of it during the school year. It won't be able to be finished completely in the summertime. There definitely will be some overlap, but we will make sure that we schedule it as best we can around the school year.
Great, thank you. And for the other second question, IT is moving more towards a software as a service model. And I see there's still in the out years a lot of software purchases being contemplated. And I'm just wondering if the Capital Planning Committee or the Finance Committee as a whole has thought about this issue with software moving out of the capital budget, possibly to the operating budget. Have they considered this, and are there any adjustments that need to be made to our process?
Mr. Foskett or Mr. Good?
I think Mr. Good could...
Yeah, Mr. Good?
I think in the capital, David Good, Chief Technology Officer. The capital line items for software mainly cover a normalization of some of our larger applications that are in existence, and it's sort of make up licensing to get them to their legal state, and some large purchases for add-ons to student information systems. Now, software as a service, we are a Google Apps environment. On the school side, we do use a variety of other external sources, and potentially in the next couple of years, we will probably have some reduction there on that side.
Great, thank you. And then just a request for the Capital Planning Committee. The road reconstruction that was in the override, I mean, it was discussed by that very selective 5-year planning committee that sort of came up with the override package that went before the voters. And I certainly we committed to doing that for 3 years, but I think beyond the 3 years, I think the CPC should carefully balance those needs against the other capital needs in the town. That wasn't part of the process. They just sort of came up with $400,000 because the roads were something that potentially would sell well and were a dire need in town. But I think beyond the 3 years that we've committed to, it would be great if you could take another look at whether that should go through years 4 and 5 and beyond. And then finally, I support the idea of the master plan, but I'm a little bit curious that that's coming out of the capital budget, and maybe it's just a shell game, but I'm just wondering of the thought behind that type of planning document. I don't know when the town's done other types of studies, whether we've had that as a capital asset or not.
We have, thank you, Mr. Moderator. We have had prior studies of, for example, the needs of the school department, and various studies over the years come out of the capital budget. And in fact, in chapter 44, Section 7 of the Mass General Laws, there's even a section for plans and analyses that can be bonded. So it's legitimate.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you. Mr. Loretti?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Chris Loretti, Precinct 7. I have just a few questions. I think I heard Mr. Foskett mention the relationship between Article 6 of the special town meeting and the capital budget. I'm curious whether there is any relationship between Article 8 of the special town meeting, this is the $200,000 appropriation for the Energy Conservation Fund, and the capital budget.
There isn't.
So that's to say that $200,000 is not included in this.
It's not.
Correct? Okay, thank you. Just a couple other questions, and I'm looking at Exhibit 2 because the print's big enough for me to read it. On page 1 of 5, under about 2/3 of the way down, under Health and Human Services, there's $20,000 for the hybrid vehicle replacement. I'm wondering if anyone knows, one, how old that vehicle is, and two, how many miles it might have on it.
Who drives it? Here we go, from the driver.
Thank you. Christine Connolly, Director of Health and Human Services. The vehicle is assigned to an inspector in my office, a health inspector. There are about 30,000 miles on that vehicle, and it's a 2001, I believe.
There are only 30,000 miles?
Mm-hmm.
Is there some reason it needs replacement with so few miles on it?
The vehicle is one of the first-generation Prius models, costing us currently a lot of money each year to replace batteries and various pieces within the vehicle. The vehicle costs, maintenance costs are extremely high.
Has the town already had to replace the batteries?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Just one more question, Mr. Moderator. On, let's see, page 3 of 5 of Exhibit 2, about halfway down, there's $225,000 for the high school parking lot culvert for fiscal 13 and 14. I'm wondering if somebody could explain to me what that is.
Maybe Mr. Rademacher could explain it. It's on the road going into the high school. It's under the road. It's Mill Brook. Mr.
Is it the Mill Brook culvert?
I think so.
Can you enlighten us?
Mike Rademacher, Director of Public Works. You're referring to the high school, the culvert replacement in 2013. That's the Millbrook culvert that is underneath the parking lot of the high school.
I thought that had already been replaced once, no?
A portion of that culvert was replaced during the environmental work done behind the high school, but they stopped that replacement at the edge of the subject site area of the limit of the environmental concern, and there was a portion that was left unreplaced.
So will this, will the work be done all in 1 year, or will some be done in each of 2 years?
The funding is spread out over 2 years. The first year, we would use some of those funds for design and save the rest to use the next year for complete reconstruction.
Okay, thank you. That concludes my questions.
Thank you. Mr. Wagner?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Carl Wagner, Precinct 11. I move that we terminate debate on the question and all associated matters.
Motion to terminate debate. All in favor, please say yes. Yes. Opposed? No. My opinion, it is a two-third vote. All right, we have before us Article 41, the recommended vote of the Capital Planning Committee as contained in the Green Booklet. Some of this requires bonding, specifically Article subsection 3, I believe, or 4. Well, it's in there. All in favor, please say yes. Yes. Opposed? In my opinion, it is a two-third vote. Madam Clerk,